Welcome back. Welcome back. It is Mental Health Monday. We're live here on YouTube, right? So hope you all came over to YouTube. Where's my cellular device? Okay. So I hope you all came over to YouTube. First of all, I need to do like a test. Oh, I don't have it in. I think I should be able. I'll be good with audio.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna need that.
All right.
My mama gonna tell me. But we're live right here on YouTube. Right here on YouTube. We are live. Welcome to Mental Health Mondays in the Light Room. So I said earlier that this is going to be for me first, and then for anybody else who views this live next, because this is a real talk conversation, right? And it's so real talk that we're doing this in real time, in real person. So no other side of the screen. We're both in the same space. This is my friend. This is my part of my community. So I want to welcome you all into the space right now, and I want to get into the real talk conversation. So go ahead and check into this space with your green hearts. Let us know that you are here. Uh, Welcome to the Light Room. If this is your first time, I hope this is not your last time. In the Light Room for Mental Health Mondays, we have three goals: educate, empower, and equip the Black and Brown communities with the knowledge, skills, tools, and resources to advocate for their mental health. If you're not aware, June is Men's Mental Health Month. And so men of all persuasions, Black, Brown, Puerto Rican, or Asian, take care of yourself, right? You no longer have to suffer in silence. You no longer have to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. There are people who are here to support you. And part of the conversation we're going to talk about tonight is community. And I have a Black man in the space that I'm going to talk with about community. So hopefully you see yourself in this conversation. You see yourself in him. But you got to be on the live to do that, sweet love. I mean, you can't watch the replay. And I'm okay with a little replay, but how are you going to ask your questions and get your answers in real time? Y'all know this is a real, session. He made me put my blazer. You have to bring my blazer back, right? Y'all ain't seen my blazer all season. You have not seen this blazer during this meaningful conversation. So, again, just even the title alone, I'm going to be just a tad bit transparent in this space too, because that's part of health. That's part of healing when it comes to your mental health. You got to be transparent. You got to be open. You got to be honest. And I know a lot of times in this space, I'm talking to people, right? I'm giving everybody the pointers, giving everybody the knowledge and all those things of what they should do. And sometimes in those moments, it's very easy to forget about yourself, right? When you're a giver, you always think about what can I give more? What can I give more? And you forget sometimes to receive. Just like you be working all those hours and forget to eat. Oh, that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But if it's not just me, go ahead and drop a green heart in the comments. I will see your comments once you post them and let us know you're here. But check in with your green hearts. We are live here in the Light Room. Let me just check on my other people in the other place. Y'all know how it goes. So guess what, too, right? If you're here live now, you get to see all these parts of the conversation. But if you watch the replay, some of this gonna be edited out. So. All right. So you want to be live. Like there are so many benefits to coming into this thing live and in living color. Let me get on my other place now. My goal is to transition to YouTube in the long run and the short run anyway. I don't know how long it would have took me if I had done it on my own, right? But I've been pushed into this space. So I had no other choice but to come over here a little faster than I was prepared to, or I anticipated. I'm always prepared. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Shout out to Kia Remmer. That's the first person I heard say that. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So I was always, I'm always ready to transition, but I didn't anticipate having a transition until I wanted to. But nonetheless, we're here now. Check in with your green heart. Let us know that you're here. We're going to start this conversation, right? Because I have Joe in the house. We got Joe in the house. That's my intro song. Okay, Joe's the only somebody got a song. Joe the only somebody got a song, but that's because Joe my friend, right? Joe my friend. So we're talking about community again. I'm just bringing people from the other space because I am transitioning from Facebook. That's usually where the Light Room is live. So again, if this is your first time, this is why things look the way they look in the beginning, but just hold tight. We'll be there in a second. But we're usually live on Facebook every second and fourth Monday at 8:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. But tonight and moving forward, we'll be live on YouTube. Same time, different location. Come on over. All right, come on over. So if you're here and you're on Boom Boom, post. All right. So Joe and I are gonna start. We're here.
Let's get it.
I don't know where y'all are, but we're here. So let's just oh.
There we go.
There he is.
Yep.
There he is. Look at us. Like we're going to Sunday service now.
That's how it's meant to be, you know. That's how you know we're serious. You got the blazers. That's how you know we're ready, active, and we're serious.
Cause y'all ain't seen my blazer this whole season. And you know, and I was just telling Joe, I haven't felt it, you know, if I'm gonna be honest. I have not really felt connected to the work that I do in quite some time. And there are some things that you deal with in private, that you work through in private with your own sources, resources, and community. But I also want to practice what I teach, right? I want to practice being open, being honest, being vulnerable. It doesn't stop me from doing what I'm going to do, but it helps you to connect with me, hopefully, to let you know that, baby, just because I wear red lipstick, that don't mean it's always together, right? Some days I ain't got it. Some days I do not have it. And some days, you know, I show up because I have to. But just know deep down in my heart I want to. So I'm so glad that my friend is able to come in person, right? So this is only the second person that I've done a Mental Health Monday live in the space with. So shout out. If I had the little thing, I'd be like, woo.
Woo.
That's it. See what I'm saying? What happens in community? They go with your shenanigans.
Yeah, come on now.
So this is the second person that I've been live in the space with. The first person was shout out to John Martin when we talked about financial literacy in the Black community. So again, welcome to the Light Room. This is Mental Health Monday. I am Marquita Dorsey, mental health advocate and certified life coach. This is my friend. Joel. Yep. And Joe, you know how I do it in the Light Room. If you don't, the way I do it in the Light Room, I introduce the guests the way that I know them, and then I allow them to introduce themselves. Then we jump into the conversation. All right. Okay. So how I met Joe. How did I meet Joe? So right, when I moved here, I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm an AmeriCorps alum. Shout out to AmeriCorps. I'm an AmeriCorps alum. So part of that is you have to do community service. Like it's part of what we do, and it's pretty much embedded in me. I did 2 years of Mississippi Reads. I think it was. Yeah, Mississippi Region. I did a year of AmeriCorps Vista. Okay. Oh, it's been so long ago. Yeah. Shout out to Linda Stringfellow. I'm sorry I forgot the name of the program.
Yeah, she was watching me like, wow, you forgot everywhere you came from.
Miss Stringfellow, listen, my bad. But I know I did that 1 year of Vista, and that 1 year of Vista really what changed my life, like really pushed me into who I am as a professional. It really laid the groundwork. Shout out to Miss Judy, may she rest in peace. But she really poured into me enough for me to go out and set goals and have goals. And so, and then also be in community. But with AmeriCorps, again, community service is a part of what we do, period. Martin Luther King is coined as a day on, not a day off. We don't sit out on Martin Luther King Day. We find somewhere to volunteer. And so when I moved here, I wasn't working intentionally. And I was like, well, I gotta volunteer still. So how do I connect to this new city, to this new state? Let me get online. Of course, Facebook is a resource if you use it for that, right? Yep. So I get online and I was like, community service, something I typed in, and JCI popped up. I said, looks good. Let me reach out. And I reached out and we talked. I became a part of JCI. Then I came over and I met you and Lil Baby.
Austin?
With the hair.
Zay.
Yeah. Zay, listen, I'm seasoned saint. Give me a minute.
No, Zay's a forgiving man. He got you. He'll let it slide.
We miss you, Zay. He will. So met you and Zay, came over to the Bible study and everything. And that was 4 years ago?
Yeah, about 4 years. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. It feels like 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, but COVID and all that messed everything up. But yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years ago. So Joe been in this thing with me since I got here, and I really appreciate it, right? I have family here, but like as far as professionally, community-wise, not a soul. Didn't know a soul, didn't know which way to go. So reaching out to you opened up a lot of doors. I met, a lot of people being connected to JCI and being connected to you. And just seeing your heart space. But that's just how I know Joe, right? He helped me get acclimated into the community service space. And not only was it community service, right? It was community service like through Bible study. And y'all know me now. I'm good in Baptist. I'm good in Baptist now. So that was all up my alley, right? And so Joe invited me into the community and the community was very accepting. And I just love him all, him and his sister Christine. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
girl.
Shout out Christine. She's still boss. She's probably working.
Okay, because all she do is work.
But it's a good thing. No, just a little bit about me. Originally from Africa, Democratic Republic of Congo, right in the center, the heart of Africa. I would say Tarzan. If you don't know where it's at, Tarzan. That's
Really?
yep, that's where everything. All those myths comes from that area. But yeah, so I was born there, the middle of 5 kids. Moved to America when I was about one. Moving to America was probably the craziest story. I'm actually coming out with a book for my family about that testimony because it was really like it was really dramatic, but it was pretty. It was all like a God moment throughout the whole process. And so my dad was the first out of 10. My mom was the fifth out of 10. And so my dad was born in the village, which we see in the dirt tribes, all that. My mom was in the city, military kids. And so the different upbringing, but same country, right? They met, was all a God moment from there. I'm not gonna get into details, it's pretty long. But they met, and then after that, God started sharing about like what his kids are gonna do for the world, evangelist, business, and a true sign was your first son's gonna be born on Christmas this year. I want to name Emmanuel, and that was in January, around January. And then my older brother was born on Christmas, just as God said, and his name is Emmanuel. And so now he's getting his PhD in theology and in the Trinity. And so that's what he does. That's his thing. And then after that, there's 2 miscarriages. And then actually a child was born. There was a son in the hospital, but here in America, you have different rooms, newborn babies in one room, which is like normal. But in Africa, limited service, limited resources, facilities. And so the baby was in the same room as the equipment. The intern came in there and was messing with the equipment, preparing it. It fell and killed one of the babies, which was my parents' child. And so my parents, 2 miscarriages, and the third child was lost. And then, yeah, you would think devastation, but God was like, forgive them, and then I move on. You'll see what I do through that. I say all I have to say because forgiveness is the key for God to move in your life. If you're stuck somewhere, if you're mad about a community, if you're mad about people who have hurt you, ministries, you have to forgive. That's the way God's going to show up and take you to the next season. And so if my parents didn't forgive that moment, we probably wouldn't be here in America. Things wouldn't happen for us to be here today. And so my parents forgave them and let it go. People got saved. People thought they were crazy, but that's how it is when you follow in Jesus. You're always crazy, right? And so that's pretty much how that part happened. My older sister was born, then I was born. Right when I was born, God said I need to go to America, and so we came to America. Just me, and my mom. My mom was pregnant with my younger sister. The long process. We got here. My dad stayed. It got so crazy because like we're staying in random people's homes. People saying that we're gonna help you do this, that. No one showed up. We had family members that didn't show up. So I remember staying at airports, staying at random people's houses, all the way from New York to Washington, D.C. to Dallas, because my dad has his cousin that lives in Dallas. So it was like, let's go to Dallas. Hopefully he can help us. And so we came to Dallas area. That's it got really bad that my mom was thinking about going back. My dad was like, you know what? I'm going to come. Left my 2 older siblings in Africa by themselves with relatives that hated my mom growing up. So they're going to hate her kids. And so, yeah, that's how we all came. My dad came after that. We did life for another year. My parents prayed and fast. So my dad and my mom prayed fast 40 days, 40 nights. Like they did all the time, right? And so, yeah, another year passed. My oldest 2 siblings got to come to America, and that was another crazy story of the transition of them coming here. A lot of miraculous God moments, like angels and things like that. It's crazy. But we all got here in Dallas Fort Worth area, and that's pretty much how we got to America. Was raised from every social program you could think of. I remember growing up in the morning, wake up at 3:00, having to go to like I forget what it's called, but pretty much immigration place and it was always packed. But I remember going through that process, and it was always annoying. I didn't understand what was going on, but I knew we were getting like citizenship, and so that took a process. I remember my dad, to this day, he's never got a job more than $13.50 an hour. And so to this day, growing up, so God was trying to show my dad, like, hey, I'm going to show you I'm God. All your kids are going to finish college. They're going to get masters. My dad was like, I don't even know. And God gave my dad the amount. My dad was like, we'll see, God. And God was like, the same way I brought you here, so we say I'm going to show out for you again. And so God worked in our lives. We went through every racism. But the thing that was different about me and from all the other kids that stood out is, for me, I love community. I love family. Africa, third world countries, that's what you have is community. Like, it takes a village to raise a child. It's like legit over there. When you come to America, there's not really community like that. They say we're community, but when hard things happen, no one's there for you, right? So I experienced that a lot. But for me, I always loved the part of like, hey, if we're all friends here, then we can all tell each other secrets. So I used to get in trouble all the time for someone that's, let's say Mr. Joe, right? He had a secret. He told me. For me, I feel like we're all friends, so like I can share it. And then I would get in trouble all the time, like Mr. Big Mouth, you can't keep a secret. But I'm like, man, if we're all community, if we're all friends, whatever you're struggling with, we can probably help. So that's the way I saw what family was. And then the second thing I used to get upset about was the different churches on every corner. So I used to ask my dad all the time, like, Dad, like the streets are messed up. There's homelessness. There's people that need help, but the churches are full and they're having their prep rallies every Sunday. And then they're divided. Nah, don't get me started. I'm gonna get heated. But I used to get mad. Why aren't they helping the community? That's the whole point of like you're saved to go out and serve the people, so you can bring the light to them, not just like preaching the gospel. Come to my church and 3-point sermons. It's about going to the people. So I understood that, and so it would frustrate me when I see different churches and different groups not clicking, you know. And so that's a little bit of my upbringing, like where my passion started from. Grew up, like I said, my dad was like, he wanted to be a pastor, so I can say I was a PK if you want to say, because everything in my house was pastoral. And so we did everything. Yeah, and we prayed every night. Like the biggest key that I learned growing up was praying with every night, like literally every night. I remember like 8:30 because I was young. I sleep early. My dad would call, "Hey Joel, go get your brothers and sisters." And I'm like, "Dang, okay." So we would come out. Everyone would pray. But it taught us that relationship with the Lord, where whenever you're by yourself and you get to isolated moment, God is still with you. You know how to pray. So that's what kind of taught me. That's what fueled me. That's what continued to help me go throughout going through high school, going to college, playing ball in college, and then coming to grad school. Because there's been moments in my life where I lost friends. I was alone, but I wasn't alone because God was with me. He was teaching me how to do life with Him. And so that's a little bit about my background. I mean, I went to A&M Corpus Christi, played ball down there for a year, stopped playing basketball. God started highlighting San Antonio. I hated the Spurs. I hated everything to do about San Antonio, but God, and I was really good at throwing events. And so I threw events down. If you want to say parties, there were parties. I had Bible studies, but then I would throw parties as well because I was good at gathering people. I'm talking about like 4,000 or 5,000 people would come out to our events.
Wow.
And so it got to the point where it got really huge, and God started sharing to me, like, why can't you do this for me? And I'm like, God, I would love to do this for you. How or when? And God started saying, okay, you're going to do it in San Antonio. The biggest revival was coming in San Antonio. And then God gave me a vision, and I saw political sphere. I saw the medical sphere. I saw the nonprofits. I saw ministries, and I saw business all coming together to actually help these people in the streets. And as soon as that unity was formed, I saw the power of God come down. And in the vision, I saw like homeless people who were meth addicts would come and immediately become sober because the presence of God was there. And so I was like, okay, God, I believe that's what you're going to do. Let's go to San Antonio. Coming to San Antonio, it was I started meeting a lot of different ministries, young adults trying to get connected. But the whole point was like, hey, y'all need to work together. And I saw that the only way that they can work together and when walls break down is whenever you outreach. So when you go out in the community, it doesn't matter what church, everyone just feels like we need to meet these needs that are here. And so we started doing outreach, small here and there, just praying for people. Then it started growing, the ministry started going. Then I got involved like politically through my grad school. I got involved with the Junior Chamber of San Antonio, JCI, JCs now. And they were like, hey, we really want you, really love what you're doing. And for me, I saw that I can take the resources from the city and then plug that in and actually go out and do outreach instead of having to raise like $100 for the week to go out and pass out sandwiches. There's already funds already allocated from the city to do that. So that was kind of my thought process, connect with city councilmen and all that. I say all that to say because when I started living for the Lord, actually doing these things, I started losing so many friends. I started losing all my college friends, the people that were close to me. Why? Because I didn't do the same things that they were doing. And I was actually serious about my passion for Christ. And so I started losing all these friends, followers, and I started getting to me, and I started getting anxious, depressed. And that's when the Lord really spoke to me. I was like, man, it's not about like they're going to leave, but they're going to come back. When I use you, they're always going to come back. Why? Because God's always chasing people. Yeah. And so you don't know what part of life they're going through, but there will be a moment where God gets them and they're going to realize that that's the way of life and they'll come back, Joe. So but as a young person, you are anxious, you have anxiety, you're stressed out, you become depressed. And so at that time, literally, I didn't have really much community. I had my Christian friends, but I didn't have any other friends. So I would just come home and be by myself all the time. It got to the point when I was like so depressed, isolated. I'm like, Lord, I just need something. And that's when the JCI kind of made sense. I was like, man, these are my new friends. These are my family. So pour into these people. And so I started pouring into everyone else. That's right before I met you. I went through a moment when I was like, I got discouraged again. I was like, God, there's no one that really sees what I'm doing. People say they want to help, everyone flakes, things like that. And so when I met you, it was really like my last, like, you know what, we're gonna do this event. Like, I'm serious. I was really like, you know, we're gonna do one more event outreach, and whoever shows up, whoever does, who cares? But obviously, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna call it quits. You reached out to me the week prior, and it was just like, hey, I'm interested in community service. I wanna get involved, and I was like, oh, cool, it's actually working. The marketing's working. It's getting out there. And so whenever we met, you started sharing to me like how you didn't have any community, you have any really good friends here in San Antonio that you can make like call family. And so I was like, okay, let me introduce you to my family. They're all real ones. They all care about each other. We show up for each other. And so that's kind of how we got together. We got close. We did a couple outreaches together, and then we had some things planned out. And so that's pretty much how we got aligned. As far as like that's how we met. That's how we started doing life together, through JCI, through volunteering, through outreach.
First of all,
that was a lot. There's a lot more I wanted to say, but I'm just like, let me make it short and sweet and get to the point.
And it makes sense. So like, I know some of the story, but that was like a more detailed. So now like who you are and why you show up the way you show up totally makes sense. Like it's just in you to be that, right? And you can tell that. I was like, he is truly your heart space. It's truly who you are. But now the story behind it makes sense. Like you really were born for this. And we've had those moments, where you, like you said, it's like, you know what? Okay, God, you got to do this because I ain't doing it.
Yep.
Like I ain't doing it, but you stayed in it. And so when I saw like the crown thing coming up, and I started seeing you in the social media space, like I was like, oh, look at
that one was another one of those. It was like, God, you know what? This is what I've always tried to do, and we're gonna get one more swing at it. And I don't care who comes, you're doing it. So I've been like the same postures even now. I'm like, I don't really care who comes to the. I do care who comes, but I don't really care about numbers.
Yeah.
It's more about just, hey man, let's just be consistent with it. And so that's how I crowned. My friend saw the impact I was doing in San Antonio. He lives in Dallas. He's like, bro, let's start a network, Christian based. And so we started out in Dallas, and every month in Dallas we started growing. About 8 months in now. Every month we have in-person events, but then we brought it to San Antonio about a couple months ago. And we started doing it here. But yeah.
And if you're in San Antonio or Dallas, check out Crown.
Yep.
What is it?
So, I mean, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. You can just type in.
Where get the tickets at?
Oh, Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. Mm-hmm. That's it. Eventbrite. So check Eventbrite for Crown.
Yeah, if you're in San Antonio this week, you're an entrepreneur, you're Christian-based, faith-based, but you want to meet new entrepreneurs, the people who are going to actually pour into you and actually show up for your events, basically meeting a new family, you definitely want to come this Thursday, the 26th, 7 to 9. It's going to be a powerful event.
Wow. Listen, I don't know if you just got here. If you just got here, I'm sorry. You're going to have to watch the replay to get that, amazing beginning of a testimony of a story to how we got to where we are now. And so if you just got here, welcome. Welcome to the Light Room. I'm Marquita Dorsey. Why is that my name like that?
I don't know. It's your name. Oh, it's your name. You tell me. You say how you.
Okay.
But you make sure.
I'm Coach Quita D. How about let's just keep it there, because clearly I'm Coach Quita D, right? Yep. And this is Joel, right?
I'm just Joel though. That's it.
I don't know, but right now he's just Joel. But Joel just gave, a bit of a breakdown, right? Originally from Africa, like for real Africa. And I'd be so proud when I'd be like, I got African, wait a minute, not the net. I'd be so like proud when I say I have African friends. Like I don't even know how to act sometimes. But you and Christine, and we got the same necklace, right? Remember?
I know that's another part of the story. I saw it next. I'm like, I got that chain too, and you're like, oh, mine's better now. And I'm like, no. And you had the earrings too. Yep. So I didn't mention any of the earrings. I was like, oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Anytime I can find something, I'm a rep it. And wow. Again, community is what we're talking about tonight. And he was just giving intro. You said something earlier about the phrase, the proverb, whatever people like to identify it as. It takes a village, right? It takes a village. And so we're talking about community tonight. And I want to go back and I want to talk about it takes a village. So I know you left your village when you were like 1. But you go back home, all right?
Yeah, now currently we have orphanage, pretty much a community center. We're developing into 2 water wells, orphans. We have 60 kids, 50 widows that we support. And then now we're building a small clinic so they can get just daily vitamins and stuff like that. So
your family does
my family, all grassroots. I'm like the president, so to say, the speaker of the of the organization, but my parents are the founders and my sisters and all administration. Everyone helps out when they can. But yeah, that's kind of the goal. We're going to mimic it all throughout the countries and maybe go to various countries around Africa. But right now, we're just trying to perfect it and make sure everything, the foundation is solid.
Charity begins at home.
Oh, but it's tough. It's not easy. When you're doing God's work, you just got to understand that you have to be adaptable. You have to be patient and understanding, like, hey, put in all the effort, but the outcome's on God. And so that was another part of my lesson that I learned.
Because listen, back to how I even started this, like saying some days I just wasn't in it. Like sometimes you know it's God, right? And you know it's part of the vision and the plan. You know it's what you're supposed to be doing. But like the immediate outcome, or even sometimes the long term, right? Because we've been in this thing for a long time. I'm on season 3 of this, right? And so it's still just like, like where is that big push, that real thing, like almost the real fruit, if you will.
Right.
Still like little seeds or little stems, like where's the real fruit? So, with that.
But I like what you said about the village. I want to go back to that. So I know you were on that before we got off a little side topic, but
I want to go to the village. Yeah. Right. I want to go to the village. And we'll go to the village. And I was gonna go to the moments of when feeling like what's the point of all of this. And I know you said earlier that you've had those moments, right?
Yeah.
And in those moments, was it a lot of solo moments or was it community? Or did you see in those solo moments how vital community is? And then we'll bring that back around to the village.
Gotcha.
How it takes a village. But like in those solo moments of, it feel like it's not coming together. Maybe it looks like it's not coming together.
Yeah, I mean, the solo moments, I think when you read the Bible, everybody goes through that solo journey. Joseph at 17, 18, that's when he went. He was in prison for 13 years. So people would feel like, oh, it was only a few years, like 13 years of him not doing anything and him learning to be by himself and then learning to be with God. David, same thing, got anointed at, I don't know exactly what age, but 14, 15, 16, around that. Then become king until he was 30. It's crazy. It's not a coincidence that Joseph was 30 when he became Saul and David was king and became 30. Jesus was 30 when he started his ministry. So 30, when you look at the priesthood, 30 is like a strong sign that you're almost like you're mature enough now. We feel like in our 20s we need to have it. And so a lot of the isolation comes from because you feel like we need to be there. And so God starts not allowing it to happen, to teach you how to work on yourself and to pause, self-reflect, look who's for you, look who's not for you, like realign your village, so to say. Hey, those people aren't part of your village, but they're not going with you. And so God uses your 20s and your isolation moment for you to figure out that. But if you're still in the moment of like, man, it's not fair, or you're still beating yourself up, then you're going to stay in that place until you get ripe. And for God has eternity. You we'll see how long you live,
Okay.
But so it's better to get it early. But in your 20s, that's kind of when I went. I thought I got it together. Outside looking in, social media, people thought I was doing big things, me and city council. I was in grad school at the time. And so people were thinking, oh, big things are happening. But honestly, that was like one of the most isolated times of my life. I felt like I was by myself. I had my group that I have, but for me, I didn't accept that was the family God was giving me at the time. I just felt like I'm mad at my old friends for leaving. I'm mad at people for betraying me. So I was still stuck on that. I wasn't understanding that God's changing my life right now, realigning my priorities, but people too. And so I didn't understand that. And so that's what caused the depression. That's what caused I ain't gonna lie, I got to the point where I was suicidal for a while, like for years, like a couple years during that time period. Because like it wasn't like I was gonna go take my life that day, except a couple of moments where I was just gonna drive. I didn't care what happened. I've had a couple of moments like I was like I'm done. But the whole point of that was because I was frustrated, angry, mad at God for putting me in the situation that I was in. But at the end of the day, I did it to myself because I didn't realize that I needed to change. I feel like I had it together, and so God was showing me that I didn't have it together. You got to mature a little bit more before I give you what I have for you. And so it was a fight against God, basically, and not being content. And so isolation really taught me how to like, hey guys, it's just me and you. And if there's no one, I have family, friends, it's just gonna be me and you, and I need to learn to be content with that. And if you're content with that, then everything else, when it's added to you, it's not gonna feel like, oh man, that's a new friend added. Now I feel bad for this person. No, it's actually you understand that God brought them, God can take them away. So it's not for you to hold on to. So if they do betray you, you're not gonna feel like, oh, that person did me wrong. No. I mean, God, you don't know what they're going through. God could have just took them away from your life. Be content in every moment. And that's the story of Job. That's what it was about. And that's what, when I brought up like Elisha, David, Joseph, those people had to learn to be alone. Elisha was depressed. All those guys were depressed. They were sad. They were mad at God. But the whole point of isolation taught them who to be and taught them like, hey, you don't have it all together. Hey, those people aren't for you. Hey, like I'm calling you to something bigger. Hey, I need you to spend time fasting. Hey, I need you to slow down. And so when you understand what that means, just resting in the Lord, resting on His outcomes. You're still putting in the work, but you're resting on the outcomes, and you're leaving tomorrow to be. And so, but it was really dark because, like I said, I was not accepting where I was at, and I just felt like everyone abandoned me. Ministry leaders, people reporting into me, I just felt used.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean that's kind of what I went through in those early 20s and mid 20s, and I feel like I just got out of that maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah. Wow. You never know what people's going through, right? And again, so much of this is making sense, right? So I've had the objective view of you, right? Like what I'm able to see by being around you and experiencing you, but like to hear from your perspective, like from the inside, it just all makes sense, right? And I'm with that perspective. I tell people, if I take something personal, then you made it personal. But 9 times out of 10, I don't take anything personal from anybody because, like I said, we're all on our journey. We all have our way to go. But when you do have people that come into your space, like be present with them, then appreciate who's there. And then when they leave, release them to go. Release them to go.
But I will add this too. During that journey when God was like pretty much pruning me, he was pretty much like, hey, you said you wanted to become more pure. You wanted to be like Christ. You wanted to be a man of God that God can look down and say, that's my faithful person. All right, well, what does it take? It takes for you to be washed inside out, and that's like a daily process. Renewing the mind, going to Him first and everything. But whenever you're in the funk, that's the last person you want to go to because you're mad at Him, so to say. And so now you kind of just wake up and like, no, I don't want to be alive. I don't want God, but God wants you to be alive. But what I learned through that process was like that contentment. God was bringing me community that I needed. And so I was thinking that I didn't, at that point, after I figured out that, okay, I'm content by myself, I didn't think I needed anyone else anymore. God will show me, no. You need the right people with you. And it's not going to be 100. It might be like 4 or 5. David, like when he was on the run, he had his mighty men. It wasn't he didn't have a lot of people. It was just his guys that were close to him. But that taught him to understand who's real, who's not, give him more discernment of who is real, who's not. But also like it keeps you happy because you're not alone now. You feel like you were your brothers that you can truly trust.
You need some people.
So community is important. Come on. You have to have community, but the right community,
I'm glad you brought that back around too, because to hear the testimony of the isolation, and many of us go through, many of us have gone, and sometimes we don't do well in it. We just don't do well in it. And I've been one who don't do well in it. I remember one of my friend guys told me, he said, "How dare you act like a child? How dare you pout the one time God doesn't give you what you asked for?" And I'm talking about just shook me. First of all, sir, don't say that to me, even though you're right. It's like all these times God has said yes, you've gotten all these things. This one time, you're just gonna throw a fit. Well, yeah.
It's because we feel like we deserve it. I mean, now you see where the world's going. Everyone feels like they deserve it. Everyone's going through tough times, and so now since they're getting out, they feel like, oh, I need a reward now. Or God, you owe me this. And so now you have people who just live life for entitlement instead of like understanding, oh, it was a season, but you still have to like persevere. And so like a big lesson I would tell young people who are just getting out of college is, hey, life is about pivoting. You're going to go up and you're going to get there, but you have to start over again. And I didn't understand that. I thought like it's like a roller coaster or like a jet. You just keep going up. You keep going up. It might be slow, but you keep going up. I didn't know you go up, you fall down. You might be down there for a year or two. Then you go back up. You might be there for a year or two. But I didn't understand that about life because I didn't have any strong mentors to teach me that. And so that's a part of community as well. How do you know who to look up to? Well, look who's already pouring into you. God's already provided people that's around. Go tap into that and accept that. And a lot of times we don't feel like we don't accept what God wants for us because we think it's not cool or it's not popular. But that's every story. That's every like heroic story you hear. They always get placed to the least popular group. And what happens? They make them popular, right? And so we hear those stories, read those books, but whenever we experience it, we're just like, what are you doing, God? I don't want that. And so going back to that contentment. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm just like, you're bringing up old things. I'm like, oh, I thought I forgot about that. But I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, it's good to keep talking about it because maybe you did it. So that's why 2 or 3 are gathered. He's always in the midst. Iron sharpens iron. Because like just because y'all talking about things, it'll bring up things that you might be going through or the person's going through. And then if you guys never met, then it won't happen. In the Bible, the verse, I forgot what verse it is, but it talks about don't neglect meeting. Like always try
Forsake
to
not
be.
the assembling of yourselves.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Don't
we got to
neglect.
come together.
You got to. If you don't, then that's when the devil comes in. Isolation by yourself. But the whole point of what God uses isolation is to bring a strong leader, and isolation is the key tool for leadership. You got to learn to be. If you're gonna be a strong leader and you want to lead people, you want to do big things. You're gonna go through isolation period. And it's not gonna be just like a few months. It might be a couple years. It might be 5 years. But you will go through a moment where you feel like you're by yourself, and honestly, that's where you need to be.
And you know, one of the things I love about what I do and the way that I do it, we're not scripted.
Oh yeah, man. I'm over here. I'm alone. I'm like, man, I hope I'm sounding right.
Listen, we're not scripted, and I love the intentionality of not being scripted. For the reason you just named in the latter, right? I just believe what's supposed to happen in moments will happen. And like I said at the very beginning of this, I didn't have it, right? I just show up because I'm scheduled to show up. And so hearing you, being here in this space with you is literally pouring back into me, right? I'll tell you, if you had been like on the other side of the screen, I probably wouldn't feel as refreshed as I'm feeling now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I probably won't have the re-energizing that I'm getting just hearing the testimony, being reminded, first of all, right? Being reminded. We talk about David and we talk about Job and all of them, but I know you. Like I know you for real. So I got like 2 points of reference. And so that was like for my journey, that was one of the important things for me. I love scripture. I appreciate it. These are core principles for how to govern your life here and when you leave here. Scripture art is essential. But I also appreciate the fact that we get to have our own journeys as well. So I too get to give testament of who God is, how God is for Marquita's journey. Joe gets to do the same thing, just like Joe, David, Eddie, Otis. Okay, those are temptations. I can't resist every time I go through it. But hold on, I gotta move some people over. Some people are in an old video thing.
You're good. I mean, I'll add to this too. Like, think about it. Like, what's gonna happen in the end times? It's gonna be so scarce. It's gonna be people aren't gonna know how to share. People aren't gonna trust pastors, which is already happening now. But people aren't gonna know where to trust anymore. So what did Jesus say? Hey, by the blood of the Lamb, what's true in the Word, what Christ did on the cross, and the word of your testimony. If you have those two things, you're equipped. And so when you understand that, yeah, you're gonna learn Scripture as you go, as you mature in Christ. God will teach you. You start memorizing Scripture. You start memorizing verses and things like that. But for you to say, okay, I'm worthy enough to start, it's literally just the blood of the Lamb, what you read in the book, what Christ actually did, and then what God has done through you. So your testimony. Why? Because what you just shared. Your testimony is going to speak to someone. You might be the only Bible someone ever reads or someone might ever listen to because you shared your testimony. But you give glory to Christ, and that's going to energize someone to realize, man, they're just like me. Who's this Christ he's talking about? Who's this Jesus? Who's these characters he's talking about? Now I want to do it for myself. Why? Because he heard your testimony. So that's all it is. I mean, it's not hard, but it is hard because the devil keeps you from trying to meet physically. He'll make distractions for you not to meet. And look what COVID was. COVID was a huge attack on like the church, on people. So people don't ever meet. And so now you have the suicide rate went up during COVID. You had so many things that are negative happen to people's mental during COVID. Why? Because you just couldn't meet physically.
And it's taking a toll, Joe. I jumped into the well, no, I didn't jump in. I got into the virtual space because of COVID. That was the only option that we had, and for the reach of where the situation that I was speaking to even started. But it's not my space. I need to be in the room with the people. I need to look in your face. I need to talk to you, touch it. Like, it's a different energy when you're in the place. And so again, like I just said, the principles in Scripture just proved. Right. It just proved just being in the space. Because on the other side of the screen, like we don't Zoom at work all the time. You got Teams, you got Zooms, you got FaceTimes, you got Netflix, because I've been watching Blind Spot. But you got Netflix, you got all these things. All these things that will take you away from the present experience. But there's nothing like being in the room, being in the space. And so I do appreciate this is a refueling. And so community, this is my community. For me, San Antonio has felt like it has been up and down. One moment it felt like when I was with y'all, I got the people, right? We're all here. But then like when we all kind of went our separate ways for a bit, the isolation kind of kicked in for me. right? Even like with the breakdowns in some parts of my family, like certain family members that were here are no longer here. So I like now I'm like, it's really just me. And so for me, this is the first time in my life that I've ever lived like solo in such a way. Really? And being able to navigate the emotions, the fears, the frustrations, the anxieties that come up. And not because you think somebody gonna get you. It's just, hold on, I'm alone with me. Like I'm alone. It's literally just me. And then two, community. Like you said earlier, some people that you've known forever or that you knew previously fell off. Mm-hmm. But then you get more people. And so sometimes the struggle has been for me letting some people fall off. Because I was the type of person, when people be like, everybody can't go with you. Some people you're going to leave behind. I'm just like, for what? Yeah. Them your friends. Why you got to leave your friends behind? Yep. Like, can we all do this together? Like, why would you get so big that you got to leave friends that you've been friends with since you was little? That was always my thought. Me too. And it's no hard feelings, right? It's no ill will, no bad blood. It's just sometimes the journeys, the path, they split. Yep. You may come back around and you may not. You may not. But we're not taught these things. I'm telling you, like we're not taught that. We're taught like even like in the Black community, like you make it out the hood, you got to bring the hood with you. You know what I mean? Like that principle is like you're not taught like, hey, you gotta let some of your old friends go who aren't the same mission or same field you're at. And like you people experience that, like athletes experience that, right? But they let them go, but they never like go back and share those moments. Mm-hmm. We have to like experience it ourselves. And so we're not, as a Black community, we're not taught like, hey, you're going to have different friends. It's always like, no, everyone's going to be there with you. Friends. You got to bring a backpack, get everyone together. But no, you don't, like you got to just understand that you're on a different path. The people who are with you or for you, the guys going to bring, it might not be the coolest people, which you thought. It might be like, for me, like growing up, I was friends with a lot of nerds. A lot of people, and I'm a comic nerd myself. Like I'm a huge anime comic, like I know all that stuff, and so I could vibe with that. But I would realize that God was just allowing me so I can be friends with everybody, understanding that. And so God was pretty much showing me like, hey, stop being so tied down to this basketball, your basketball friends. Like they might not be here forever, but for me, I always think they would. And now they're not here, and that caused me to go depression, isolation, suicide thoughts, just because I wasn't accepting what God was doing in my life. You do need community again, but it's different. It looks different every time. It looks different every time. It looks different. I think I'll be in San Antonio. Like I didn't think I'd be here in San Antonio and Viva la Mexico. Like I didn't think I would be a part. I'm serious. I didn't think so. But like I consider this my community now, and like a lot of my good friends are Hispanic. And so the diaspora. Oh, hold on, my Lord. No, girl, I got on my green jacket. But yeah. But honestly, you don't even know, like, how you say iron sharpens iron. Like, it's all God's timing because, like I said, I was at the tail end when I met you. I was, like, done. Like, I was completely done. And just meeting you and seeing where you're at and, like, what you're looking for, that lit a spark in me because I started realizing that there was people that need this. And honestly, like I feel like I dropped the ball when I stopped the whole Bible study and stopped because God was like, that's your gift, man. You bring family, you bring people who aren't supposed to meet, you bring them together. And I stopped that because I was mad. I was too focused on the numbers, and I was also focused on just like where's my money at, Lord? Where's my big break? I'm doing all these things for you, but I don't see my big break. I got a master's degree, but now I'm struggling. And then I see people who are younger and doing greater things. I'm just like, what did I do wrong? But there's nothing you did wrong. You're just on a different journey. Oh, you're on a different journey. Nothing you did. And listen, I know y'all used to me typing what people say, but I can't because we got this in a different perspective, a different place. I'll do that later. I hope you're in. Well, I don't know. The people are confused. The people are lost. Yeah, it was. But shout out to the replay. You'll be able to come back and see us in this space, in this element. But I just lost my thought. What you just said? I said, so they're on a different path than you. Yeah. The people are on a different path, and that's real. That's real talk. I just said to myself the other day, like, stop fighting. Like, literally stop fighting and accept what God is allowing in your life. And again, it does not mean that anything is wrong with the people, the place, or the thing that you're now away from. Mm-hmm. You're present here now. And I got a message from somebody the other day I mean, a very timely message. And part of his message to me was bloom where you are.
Mm.
You
Yep.
know, bloom where you are. We're so busy trying to either go back to where we came from or go ahead to where we want to be.
Yep.
Like, be present where you are. And I say that thing like typically romantically for relationships or relationships, period. Even with community, you got to be present for me. Like, the more seasoned I get in life and the more I'm having this experience, because I'm having to be present with myself. Again, like, my young adult days was dedicated to being a mother, to raising my child, to serving at church, to doing all these other things that were external to me. Now it's just me. Now it's me showing up as Marquita, right? And so, again, living in my own space. First of all, I thought when I came to San Antonio, I'm like, Grandma here living my best life. That's what I'm going to do.
Really?
I came to live my best life,
in
right?
San Antonio? No. I'm playing. That's no shade. SA is great.
What?
SA, it's growing though. It's like crazy. So
It is. We're growing like weeds. I love, and San Antonio has grown on me. So when I first got here, right, that first year, people were asking me how do I like San Antonio, and my quick response is I love San Antonio, and I did, and I do, right? Again, just the journey, the path, the shaking and the stirring and the moving, and letting God be God and letting things happen the way that they're supposed to happen in your life. Um, this separation for me, because when I came, I was with my family. And so then that separation was really what brought me into the present space of like, oh, okay. So now I am responsible for building my own community. So usually for me, especially like in Memphis, okay, we're making our way, especially like in Memphis, though, my coworkers, and I know some people are like, you don't go to work to find friends. Let me tell you something. Shout out to my Memphis friends. My Memphis friends were my coworkers. Yeah. And so we're still friends to this day. And of course, everybody ain't there. So coming here, the way where I work and the type of work that I do, that's probably not going to be feasible. But the very first guest that I had in the light room this year, Vernon Shank, he created a group, Meet and Greet San Antonio. And beyond y'all, by far, that has been the best experience I've had when it comes to navigating living here. Because it was also a culture shock for me. Like you said, I ain't never.
Yeah, I wasn't into the whole Hispanic culture.
Yeah, I ain't know.
But
I didn't know.
I love cultures, but I just wasn't into it. But yeah, I mean, I think people, like I said, people come into your life for a season or for a reason, you know. And so sometimes it's for that season, that moment of time. And honestly, people forget that life, the biggest currency in life is people. We think currency is money, but no, it's the people. And so, like, understand that people are the currency, and it's God's anyways. You might be in that person's life for a month, and that's all you're supposed to be in their life for. Stop holding on to them and saying, you don't call me anymore. You move, but you don't call me now. You're mad at them. No. They moved on to a different season. Now they have a new community, but you're supposed to be there for that moment. You're supposed to be a good steward of that. Yeah. And so how you say being faithful with the least or for the most, being present. If there's only 3 people that's around your area right now, be faithful and actually pour into them more. But a lot of times we see 3 or 4, we're like, that's not good enough. Yeah, ain't good enough, Lord. Or these people aren't quality that one that I'm looking for. And so now you're forgetting what God's really doing. It's like He's changing you through the whole process. But you're looking at it like, God changed my situation. It's like, I'm changing you first before I change your situation. I'm allowing you to be humble and understand that life is not about just money and big numbers. It's about people. And so those 3 people you meet, there's a reason why God has you meet them. They might be going through a crisis where they're just meeting you and you can just encourage them. And now they're blessed and go running. And for me, I would see these things. I would like pray with people and be with them. And I'll see them not living or I think they're living their best lives. And I'm just like, God, what about me? It's like, well, you help them do that. Yours is coming. Your time is coming. But your job is just supposed to go out and empower people to be the best version. So be that light, be the salt. That's all we're supposed to do. So if you see someone with nice shoes, nice outfit, compliment them. You don't know what that person is going through. And so I try to do more of that. And like wherever I'm at, try to be really present and try to meet actually people's names, get to know them a little better, because I'm understanding that God, there's someone here that I'm supposed to meet, there's someone that's supposed to help me or vice versa, And a lot of times what you're looking for might be in the community that you've been neglecting.
Yeah. Wow, that kind of touched a little bit. That kind of touched a little bit.
I'm sharing all this and I'm like, oh, that's good. I needed that reminder. Yeah. I'm like, at the same time I'm sharing, but
yeah. Most said, I get that you've done your service for others. Now it's about serving God, serving yourself and God. No, seriously. And even that notion and that statement, right? Mm-hmm. I struggled with that, right?
Me too.
I struggle with accepting that as a
Yes.
fact. Like it's just time to serve myself and serve God. And you know, the more you love yourself, the more you love God, because then you understand the connection between the two. When I can see God in me and me and God, like you take care of both. Taking care of me is taking care of God. Taking care of God is taking care of me. You know what I'm saying? And so, when you in, and listen, we're not gonna make this about church because you know I get itchy a little bit too. But that's another conversation for another guest. I got that coming. But it's a communal space, and a lot of times that sacredness of yourself is stripped away. If I'm honest, it's stripped away, so you can't love your neighbor as yourself because you really didn't learn to love yourself. Exactly. You're not even allowed to pay attention to yourself. You know, so how can I love my neighbor as I love myself? I'm gonna side eye you, and I'm gonna side eye me. You know what I'm saying?
And then, like, also forgive yourself.
Yep.
Like, you gotta forgive. A lot of times, people realize that's what happened to me through the isolation.
Yeah.
People kept asking, "So, what do you want in life?" And I didn't know how to answer that question. I was like, I just thought I was always pouring out and be like, "Bro, you don't really love yourself. You don't go to sleep on time. You don't like take days off. You don't rest." But you tell other people to do that. Yeah. It's because you don't love yourself. You don't forgive yourself for the past mistakes you have done, and so you're staying in that funk. And honestly, that's a selfish place to be. When you don't, when it's you, me. You know, it's like that's being selfish. It's all about you. But what about me, Lord? And that's about you. And to talk about the community develop as a leader, I think if you're really good at like gathering the troops and letting them have fun, letting them break bread, they'll run a mile for you. And that's something I didn't know about. I just thought it was about getting the mission done. Hey, we go out mission. You're happy, right? You're good. That's it. I thought mission accomplished. But Lord was reminding me, like, no. The whole point of how you get the mission done is to pour your people. The mission is going to happen regardless. And I talked to an individual about 2 weeks ago at our last kind event. He's a leader, right? And they're trying to figure out ways to get the team to start like being more effective at work, productive. So what did he do? He's like, so he would take them out on like every week to have like little team nights. So they'll go bowling and they'll go like they went to a bar and hung out together, you know? And then one of the leaders that was over him, managers, saw him. They're like, "What are you doing? You're taking them out and doing these things." He's like, "Yeah, this is how you create family. And once you create that family, you get more effective, or you get more efficient at work with your team members." Yeah. And so literally, they let him go, and he saw it as a sign that God, you didn't want me to be there. He accepted that. But literally, those people started doing life afterwards by themselves, and that they started being more effective. So they try to call him back. Hey, you want to come back and lead? And he's like, no. I took that as a sign for me to go to my next career.
I see it now. Yeah, you're done.
So community does everything. If you're doing the company, if you're doing a ministry, like your community and like what you hold in like internal is the key to help accomplish your mission. Yeah. Like Jesus knew, like for him to accomplish the mission in 3 years, he's gonna need to pour into these guys like crazy.
Gotta have community, man. Gotta have those extra legs and those extra arms, and again, that when I think about church, that's the visual I get. Because and I haven't fully disclosed my journey anywhere. Wow. Yeah.
You need to.
I do. I haven't. It's
all right, guys. We're gonna start over. We're gonna do that.
Okay, roll it back. It is lengthy, to being in church all of my life, and then to being pulled out of church. Like that blew my mind. Because why? How? Who? Me? And then what is that? What are my people gonna say? Yeah. Right? Like, why you not going to church? Why you not this and that? But then understanding all you just explained about what it's really about. And I don't have an issue with the church. I don't have an issue with a particular church. I'll say it that way. I have an issue with the church systems.
Yeah.
I'll say it that way.
That's a good way.
I have an issue with the church systems. And because I'm in and for a while I couldn't say anything because I'm in my own space. I'm trying to figure it out. I could have been lashing out and saying things out of anger because I hadn't got the other part of it. Like God, the Holy Spirit has really walked me through understanding what this looked like. Because it scared me, first of all. It confused me, second of all. And I didn't know what to do, third of all. Like, why would you say, oh God, this was literally my audio this morning. That's the foundation of who I am. Like my beliefs, like going to church, like that's my foundation. Like that was the bottom. And you just uprooted me, pulled me up and plucked me out. And then for a time, I felt like you just left me standing in the street. Like, what was I supposed to do? Because I literally could not go to church. I couldn't stand to hear it. I couldn't, and it ain't because I was demonic or none of that. It's just I couldn't. And so COVID happened, And now I can't go to church. So it just all ran together. And then I moved. And so in that journey, in that time, I got a much better understanding, a much deeper understanding. Shout out to church, right? Because of that, because of some parts of it, you chew up the meat and you spit out the bones. But because of the meat, I am still able to go out and serve. I am still able to go out and let the God in me be shown, so that somebody might ask me, what must I do to be saved? I understand that as a notion. It doesn't just have to happen in a building or in no special place. Wherever I am, that's where the ministry work is. And so when I come to Mental Health Mondays, and when I do the work that I do, that's the perspective from which I do it from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, people forget the church is not a place of people. And so that's the reason Jesus made it easy. Like 2 or 3 are gathered. That's church. And so if you really understand that concept, I mean, we're having church right now. But if I told you, if I was a pastor and I told you that the pastor's going to get scared that everyone's going to run off and leave the church and do their own church now. And so I can't share that with them. I can't empower them to do that. And so I need them to come back next week for part 2. I'm telling you. But that's the problem. They forgot that it's a people and the thing is a place. And so they feel like, if I go to church, I don't want to cuss here. Well, you shouldn't cuss where you're at going back after church too. Why? Because God's with you all the time. Yeah. And so I just think people forgot what the whole point of community was. Like, and what I will say to you is don't, like, or anyone who's listening that has experienced what you experienced, I have too with the church. Like, even to this day, it's still hard for me sometimes. I'm like, but the Lord was telling me, what revealed to me through this isolation period, and me pouring into Him, God is new, and He's doing a new thing. He's getting out the old wineskin, He's doing a new wineskin, and that's when people finally understand that, that's when revival is really going to truly hit. Back then, whenever Jesus was walking the earth, right, why did the priests get mad at Him? Because He didn't do the same thing they did. He didn't have students like that. He did things differently. They were like, why you work on the Sabbath? We don't do, like, He was doing different things. He was basically changing old wineskin, the old structure, which y'all thought church was. I'm bringing the power back to the people and actually doing that. So he would be at the red rooms. He would be at the streets. He would be at the places no one wanted to be, because he was trying to make people understand that church is a people. Bring church to the people. And so what's going on today in 2025 or 2020s, whatever, God's doing something new. We forgot that church is the people. It's a place. Like, people think it's a place. And so they go to the pastor. Pastor, do this. Pray for me. Pray. No, you have the same Holy Spirit's there. It's in you. You can literally take church and bring it to your work. And so with you, God's basically using your ministry, your gifts as a ministry. And so for me, when I do my business and sales, it's my ministry now. I'm not leading a pulpit, but when I'm sitting down with the business owner and talk to them one-on-one about their marketing, about like their strategies, we're going to talk about your testimony. You're going to understand that, hey, I'm here to listen to you. And afterwards, usually what happens is like, hey, can you pray for me? Can you do this? And that's all I do. Yeah. And that's all God wanted you to do. But for me, I didn't understand that part of what God was doing. So I was just mad at the church because it wasn't done the right way. So I was angry at the church. I forgot that you're doing something new right now. And you're actually bringing church back to the people. You're taking away the 4 corners of the walls. You're bringing it back to the people. And people don't like that. Now you're ruffling up feathers now, So the same thing happened during Jesus' time is happening again. But now it's not Jesus doing that. God's going to use a people group, a remnant.
Amen.
And it's going to be in the marketplace. It's going to be in the trades. Wherever you go, God wants you to bring Him in the midst and let Him do all the work. And that's what's going on today.
And I'm so grateful that, now, thank you for sharing that. Now, my prayer is, of gratitude for sure. Like, God, thank you for even giving me an opportunity to see life this way, for even having this experience, for pulling me out, right? To pull me out and turn me around and say, look. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
see what you're doing now.
Yeah, I got you. I trust you all the more. Like, whatever you say now, I'll do, because continuously proves to me that He can be trusted, And so again, I will at some point release that full of
you got to. I'm pretty sure God's probably been waiting for you. Ooh. That's probably the reason why you've been waiting for that blockage to remove, because God's like, it's because you haven't forgiven yourself, you haven't let go of the past things, and you won't share it. You feel like you need to. I'm telling you, God really showed me a lot. It's like, bro, you really got to forgive. Forgiveness is the key to open up your next season, your next opportunity. There's some forgiveness that God's working on, either for yourself or for people. Yeah, definitely. Me thinking I'm supposed to know everything, or I should have known, or how to do it, or just even when things change. Because then for me too, this has also been about losing control. Like, a lot of this I ain't had control over. Like, San Antonio. So Texas was always the option, but San Antonio was not.
It was either Houston or Dallas, and
Yeah,
so I got invited to San Antonio, and I was like, well, I mean, okay, at the time, because and so I came down here, and I had no expectation because I wasn't in my mind. I really wasn't supposed to be here, so I had no expectation of San Antonio. And I used to say Memphis was my wilderness because, oh my God, my life opened up like a lotus flower when I was in Memphis. Like so many things happened in me in Memphis. The first time I ran, right? The first time I ran back home, but the second time I couldn't. Like I had to feel it all. I had to live in it all. I had to be in it all. So I really thought that was it, though. I thought like, oh yeah, we got it all out. We got all the shifting and the shaking and boom. So then I come here and I was like, oh wait, there's more.
Oh, that's throwing my off right there.
God, there's more. Wait, you gotta shake me again. Like you gotta get some more.
I was like, I thought I was good. You said I thought I was already cooked. You've been cooking me for the last 4 years. I'm like, okay, I'm ready now. Yeah. You think you're ready? You're not ready yet. There's other things that I'm working, and it's your job to go search it out. I'm like, God, first accept it. That's the story of Job. Job didn't do nothing. It was about contentment. Just accept what God is doing. Yeah. If you trust in Him, the devil's gonna try to like distract you so you can go back, so you never stay on routine. So like basically when you make a declaration like, all right, God, this week I'm gonna start Bible study, I'm gonna do this. What's gonna happen next day? Something negative is gonna happen. So you get out that declaration that you made, that commitment you made with God to change and move in your way. Things get your day, you'll be so tired at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm just gonna not do that commitment, and then it becomes the end of the week and you didn't do anything that God asked you to do. And then you're still in the same funk. You're like, why am I still in the same funk? It's because you're letting the devil like win by him, like because God's allowing it. Yeah. It's on you. Are you okay with it? And you're gonna keep doing what He asked you. Like even Job's friends were like, bro, maybe you sinned, or maybe someone else sinned. And the whole point of that was like, bro, there was nothing that he did. God was just trying to prove a point that hey, the whole life, once you get God in the driver's seat, you're in the passenger the whole time. Stop trying to get back in the driver's seat. Put your seatbelt on. And then a good way that I feel like to say this, I'm talking about driving. People always talk about how can I hear God? I don't hear God anymore. If I told you the GPS, you're going from San Antonio to Dallas. Yeah, the first part, it's getting out of San Antonio, the GPS is talking, go left, go right, 10 miles to this. But once you get on 35, going like 80 miles, it don't say a word. Nope. Because you're on the right path. If you exit a certain way, it's going to tell you, hey, adjust, go back. Get that through. Same thing with God. God doesn't always have to be speaking to you. You just go back to what He told you to do and just keep doing it. He'll adjust you if you're going the wrong way. He will adjust you. He will get you to stop now. If you don't listen, He will adjust you. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a little, I just feel led to say this and talk about driving because people always ask, or people always say, like, I don't hear God anymore, or how do I hear God? God's not talking. He's always talking. It's just we're not listening. We're not understanding what He's doing or how He's talking.
Yeah. And definitely go back to that last thing you heard him say. This is wild. This is okay. It's divine. I just believe it that way. It's divine for me too. I audio record, and this morning in my audio recording, right, I said, "Dang it!" See, that's what I get for being distracted.
No, you're good. It's divine for me too because like this past week we had prayer with my family every Sunday, and we talked about like it just came to me. Lord's like forgiveness is the key. That's the reason people are stuck in their season a lot of times. Yeah. Afraid to forgive others, or people who have burnt them in business, people who have hurt them in ministry. And also, they don't forgive themselves. And so, God's like, until you accept that, and part of contentment is forgiveness, you know?
Yeah, you got to forgive. And again, I just, part of my journey has been definitely coming back to myself, finding God within myself. Probably what kicked off my journey and in my pivot, my transition was somebody saying to me that I essentially repeated things that I had heard. Not because I knew and understood it, but that was because that's how I was taught it. That was just the way I know. So I was better at repeating it than actually understanding it. And that didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
And instead of being, I was mad at first. I wanted to fight him. I still want to fight him. He know who he is.
Yeah, I still want to fight him. You are, man.
Yeah, I still want to. But that was God for sure. But that made me say, hold on. Because, as a college graduate, as somebody who values knowledge, who values wisdom, I want to be sure. Oh, okay. So now this is a challenge for me. Yeah. Because you know what, sir? When I think about it, you right. So it put me in a place where I said, okay, God, this me and you, what's up? You got to show me. And y'all be careful. Don't take it from Quita D. Don't play God like that. Don't try. Like, you're not that grown. Trust me. It's going to be for your good, but it ain't going to always feel good. He'll answer your question, Like he'll prove to you if that's what you want. He'll show you. You got to prove nothing, but he'll show you if that's what you need. And be ready to receive that which you see. But that was the way that I had to go. And so it expanded a lot of things inside of me. So again, sitting here, you couldn't have told me I would be doing what I'm me. Like my face has been seen in countries that I may not ever step foot in. Or I might. Shout out to,
you never know.
My face has been in, my voice has been in places. You could have told me that would be me. That's something I would do. Like even having an impact, people coming up to me saying things about the work that I do. And that's what essentially it's about. But had I not taken that challenge, had I not made that pivot, had I not made that change, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't be here.
Or it might happen, but you would have just went right through your head and you're not even accepting it, And so,
or he get somebody else to do it, because that's the other thing. Like if you don't do it, he get somebody else to do it. I know that for sure. I've seen things that I have written in tablets that I wrote a long time ago. It don't mean that I still can't do it, but I know when I see it, I've seen it before. Yeah. Almost to the letter.
Yeah.
But I was afraid to move with it. I was afraid to make it do what it do. That person said okay, and they did. So I don't want God to ever take, my assignment and give it to somebody else. So, going through the pruning, going through the transitions, help you to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much it hurts, no matter how difficult, how frustrating, how isolating, all the things that it is. Because when you, again, for me, understanding myself helps me understand God. Understanding God helped me understand myself.
Exactly.
It's one and the same. And once you get that understanding, everything else exists around you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that exists within you. Everything else exists around you. So everything else is fleeting. Everything else can be replaced. Everything else can be changed.
You can't control it.
There you go.
Just let it go. No, it's a life lesson. I think that's the whole point of the pruning. There's different. It takes longer for other people. It takes shorter, but you're going to go through that. I mean, think of the Israelites. It was 11-day journey.
Man.
But it was a 40-year process. Why? Because the mindset. They started the mindset of like victim. They started a mindset of like depending. They understand that God's your provider. And God's going to take you through isolation so you realize he's your provider. And so the whole point is like, you love the Lord or your God. You experience that. But a lot of times we forget that because business and people, ministry, doing things, we forget the fear of the Lord. We forget that he could take it all away. Yeah. We forget to go to him in the morning because he's the most powerful being. He's the present, everything. So we forget that. And so God has to remind us like, hey, I'm him. You're not him or her. I'm him. You need to depend on me. And so the pruning is about going through that. He'll use isolation as a key factor so you get it quicker.
Yeah.
So if you're still with people that you shouldn't be, it's hard for you to get God's message.
Distracted.
Yeah.
So man, and let God be your community, right? Mm-hmm. The center of your community. And that's another, vital and important piece, because if God is the center of your community, then everybody that comes in and or out, you know how to handle the situation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
God help me to see people the way you see them, or help me see them the way that I need to in this moment or in this experience. Not saying that, you're not human and it's going to be perfect. But like you said, even if it takes a minute, because some of those disconnections hurt.
Oh, a lot of it hurt.
Okay, right. A lot of it hurt.
A lot of it hurt.
Especially with people you thought you would be like this with forever. And again, there's no beef, there's no shade. It's just the separation and, the different paths, the different journeys. It's not even, it's just a different journey, but it hurts. Because, you be having plans for your friends. You see them at your wedding, you see them all these things, but sometimes it just don't work that way.
That pain too is so minute and small compared to the pain. If you don't learn that lesson, the pain you'll receive in the future. Because a lot of times what God using that pain is to build emotional callous. And so if it happens again in the future, you're not going to throw a pity party. So I had another business coach talk to me. She was I don't know if she's a strong Christian, but she's never talking about Christ, but she's a good person. So she was basically telling me like, well, Joel, you're upset about everyone leaving you. You lost all your friends. You're boohoo, right? A few years of depression, all that. But you want to go do work in Africa. You want to run for office in Africa. And she stopped. In Africa. Stop. In Africa. She stopped like 4 times. Like, yeah, in Africa. She's like, you don't understand that, like, to run policies here in America, people flake all the time. People bail. Everyone's like supporting you, and then the next day they don't. In Africa, it's even worse because it's not stable over there, right? Government's not the best. So it might happen to you in the future. So God has to allow that pain and that hurt to happen now, so you understand that emotional callous comes. So if it happens in the future, now you're not throwing a depression or a pity party for 2 years. You're gonna bounce back. It might take a couple months, it might take a day, but you'll bounce back a lot quicker because he knows the mission he has for you is it's a lot quicker than what you think it is.
Wow.
You think, oh God, we're ready to do it right now. You're like, no, you're not ready. You still need to learn how people are going to burn you, how people are going to leave you. And that's the key thing for leadership. You have to learn that. So if you want to do big things for the Lord or big things just in life, leave a legacy, you got to learn like how to be alone, how to get burnt, how to get frustrated. You can have all the education in the world. You can have all the accolades. But if you don't learn that part, you can't be a successful leader because it's going to happen again. Yeah. You're going to get burned again. You're going to go to another wilderness season. But now you're going to understand that you are in a wilderness season. You're going to understand that you are getting pruned, and it won't hurt as bad because the emotional cows have been built.
Wow. And that's the beautiful benefit.
She wasn't a Christian woman. She just taught me, and God used her. Again, community. God used anybody to help you. You just got to be open to it and actually go out and meet people, talk to people. You never know.
Got to be open.
So
I'm full. I am excited. I'm so...
This was good for me. You have no idea. You have no idea. Like my
Same.
This was really good for me. Just because I don't know, you never know. You have ups and downs. And last couple of weeks, I tore my Achilles, and so I've been throwing pity party here and there. Like, God, why? But the whole point was like, no, Joe, you haven't been close to me like you were. I need you to go back to that. And the only way to stop you is to stop basketball. Seriously, God cares more about me than he does care about what I can do through basketball. And so God will stop you, but the whole point of the lesson is like be content with it. He's teaching you something. He's bringing new people. He's bringing you old people that you used to pour into back in your life. Like Mark, we haven't done life with you. I haven't even seen you in person in a while.
Yeah,
And God will take, like, when I told you I wanted to see you in person, it was for that reason. God was like, hey man, you need to go see in person. The live stuff is great, but go see her. You don't know what she's going through. Just go see her, and then hopefully this has been an encouragement. Hopefully it's been something. I know I trust the Lord, so.
I'm glad you trust him, and I'm glad he knows what to see and what to do, because I absolutely did need this in person. So when you said that, I was like, yes. Because sometimes, again, I'm a people person, and the in person really helps. It really brings me into the space, into the place, and so and just what this turned into. Because again, I'm not scripted in the light room, because I choose people based on their expertise and what I watch them do as a servitude to the people. And I see that it aligns. Anything that's going to help educate, empower, and equip. And it's not always just a mental illness or a mental diagnosis. Sometimes it's having the right mindset. Yeah. Sometimes it's having the right perspective. Sometimes it's having the right tools and techniques when you're exercising. It's about having, the right access. And I'm not the only one that know these things. So that's why I have guests that come in, they share their testimony, they share their resources and their knowledge. And so sometimes you got to be real too. This is probably one of the most real talk podcasts I've had since I've been doing this, because when I came in here, the energy that I have now, I didn't have it. I didn't start with this energy.
You didn't have the blazer on or anything. I was just like, man, what's going on? We need to lift this up. And I honestly, I do feel like that's what God wanted to remind you of. It's like, hey, go back to the serious, because he's about to open the door for you, and he needs you to be serious, because you're going to miss that door because you're the pity party still. We're all going through. It's not bad. You're probably going through yourself, but understanding that the key to get out of this is forgiving and letting go and being content and actually pressing in, because the devil doesn't want you to stay in that, so you miss your next opportunity. Yeah. I'm telling you, I know, because God had you this for a reason, and I've been seeing you. I'm like, this is something that God's going to use for the nations. And so God's preparing you. If you're going to go to Asia, if you're going to actually speak in platforms, if you're going to do any of those things, you got to learn to be alone, because ain't no one going to, no one's going to support you at the beginning, or they might have some fakers, but how you going to know they're fake if you don't know how to be alone, so. I praise God, because like I said, you did more to me just coming here and sharing that. You did more for me than, I don't know how much this meant for you, but for me, it was a lot, because like I said, I was going through it, and I just needed a reminder, and God used me speaking, and I was like, that's what I need to see here. So that's what he does.
Done send us both over here to serve, right? You see how God do? Done send us both over here to serve each other for the glory and for the good, and I'm absolutely grateful. And this is community. See what you just watched, what you just experienced. This is community. We haven't since the other night when I called your name out loud, but that was the first time we had seen each other in a.
I was surprised you called me. I was like, oh, Marquita. Oh, I was not expecting to see you because you saw me limping too. I was already mad that day. I was like, it wasn't a good experience. But I saw you. I'm like, I'm gonna see you on Monday. Cool. You just encouraged me. Like I'm telling you, it was encouraging me to see you.
So. Oh, good. See, so God been doing it since Thursday night, right? Because that was Thursday night, and I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't gonna go when I first got there. The park, the parking was crazy anyway. And then I finally parked, and then it was already like late. So I was like, you know what, I told the people that I was coming, so I was like, let me just go. I'm here or whatever. Let me just go. And so I went. It was a good time, and then I saw you. So yeah, it all worked out the way it was supposed to. Even this showing up, because I ain't had it.
Last thing I'll say, unless you want more, but the hardest part and the easiest part is just showing up. Think about it in the analogy you're going to the gym. A lot of times you don't want to go, but then after you go and you're there and you're done, you're like, bro, all right, that was the best. That was the best thing. You go to church. A lot of times you don't want to go. I don't know it's a Bible study. You end up going, and now you're like, man, I needed it. I'm filled. I have energy now. And so the hardest part in business, ministry, but even for the Lord, it's just showing up. If you just show up, He does the rest. So like meeting community, just go to your community that God has called you and just show up. I'm telling you, you're going to start working and you're going to realize like, wow, I should have been doing this like months ago instead of throwing that pity party,
I know, right?
So I'm happy we did this in person.
I am too. I really am. So. It has restored a lot in me. It has done my heart good. And it's been good to see you and hear you and talk to you. It's always refreshing to talk to you and both Christine. Like, again, I've had like an overview, but like the details that you gave about the journey to coming here and to becoming who you are now, and just where God will take you, but just the way you are now, it all just makes sense. Like it's you were born for it, and it's in you. And I'm so glad we connected. I always say my life is divine. I don't meet people by happenstance. I meet who I'm supposed to meet when I'm supposed to meet them, and whatever happens. Like so, I believe that we were definitely supposed to be connected. And has been one of my greatest connections here in San Antonio since. So I do appreciate you coming and reviving myself in the light room. And so, guys, again, because we're live and living color, we're going to close out together with Joel. So I'm sorry to those that kind of got lost coming around here. Again, this is what life is about, changes, pivots, and sometimes you're not in control, right? So I don't know what else to say except enjoy the replay, enjoy the playback. And if you were able to catch us live, I hope that you were able to take some things that actually healed and fueled your heart. And if not, it was just for me and Joe.
It might have been just for me and you. It might have been more for me than anything. I'm just playing. But if you don't mind, can I pray us out?
Yeah.
Pray us out. I'm a praying man. I just like praying.
He's a praying man, guys.
Father God, thank you. Thank you for the light room, Father. Thank you that you are the lighthouse, you are the beacon, but God, you use us to light others up, Father, through encouragement, testimonies, through lessons, but God, at the end of the day, you get the glory for it. So I just pray, Father, whoever is watching this, listening to this, that they will be encouraged and they will seek you. It will be a reminder to go to you first, and you will teach them something to be isolated. Through isolation comes perseverance, comes endurance, but at the end of that journey, to get closer to you, and that's what you want most. So I thank you for that, but also thank you for the community. Those of us that are in community, those of us seeking community, I pray you provide that. But let us not take advantage of the people that you are providing in our lives. Let us actually press in, and it's for a reason, Lord. So I just thank you for those people that are listening and watching. Bless them. Bless Marquita, Coach D, Coach Quita. Bless her. I pray, God, that you use her for mighty things. Let her voice be in like an evangelist to go through a different nation, just talking about her testimony, sharing with other people's testimonies. But at the end of the day, people can see a light through her. So I just pray the presence of God be with her everywhere she goes. When people look to her and say, I have to talk to her because the presence of God is so real in her life. So that's my prayer, and I just bless everyone in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. This has been the Light Room. Thank y'all. Good night. Amen.
Cool.